Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about a very famous craft in our country, which is rice paper making. Every Tet holiday, we children and our family enjoy eating spring rolls, which very specially have these crispy golden crusts that are made of rice paper. So, if you like spring rolls, you would like to learn about rice paper tradition, right? What are these rice paper made of, and what is its origin? Here you will visit a famous ancient village named Tho Ha village, which has a large part of our history carved into this village. Even through the ups and downs of history and time, Tho Ha village still remains a very peaceful rural area without the effects of war onto the village. The village used to be a very famous ceramics trading community, but now they've switched to another craft, which is rice paper making. Even though we don't see pottery made much in the village anymore, we can still see its impact on the houses, the ancient houses in this village. The houses are made of ceramic bricks, which are mixed with mud from the Go River. So, let's dive deep into our history of the rice paper and what's its process, right? So, what are the ingredients for rice paper making? Like the name says, we need rice, the delectable and not too fragrancy type, but they still need to smell good because that will be an important part of our rice paper making process. The next ingredient that we need is water to soak the rice in. So, what are the process in making this? And you just need a few more equipments to make it, and the sun and the weather to cooperate with you. So what's the first step? In making rice paper, you will need rice. The rice needs to be delectable and delicious. They're soaked in water overnight, from the night before to early morning the next day. Then they are ground into flour, rice flour, by the artisans. And then these flours are to be coated onto the rolls that were already pre-made. Then these rolls are laid into long bamboo rafts, which are rectangular in shape. Then this is our most crucial step in making rice paper, which needs the weather to cooperate with us, which sadly, unfortunately, sometimes they don't. But never mind about that. So, why do we need the weather to cooperate with us? Even if we have machine now, it would be better if we use nature to help us in the drying process of the rice paper. First, the artisans will put long rafts of rice paper in the sun so that it can dry. But be careful. If the sun is too harsh, then the rice paper can easily crumple up and crack, which makes them you'll have to get rid of them. You can't use them. They're too hard to make anything out of them. So the most ideal weather for drying rice paper is wind, because wind helps them to kind of cooperate with us. Wind helps the rice paper to be more flexible, more tough, not fragile, and also helps them have a better texture, makes them look thinner, because we need a thin piece of crust, not a too hard and very thick piece of crust, which won't be good and will be very hard to fry up. So after drying in the wind or sun, you'll have to bring them into the house, stack them up, and then you'll have to measure them and cut them into circles or rectangular shaped, which are ideal for making other types of dishes. Not only spring rolls, but you can use them to, you can fry them up to make one of these snacks that you can have for a light snack. Which means rice paper gives us a lot of things, not just spring rolls, even if you like them. So, I finished talking about the process of making spring rolls. But I cannot help but be amazed at how skillful these artisans are. They're very fast and agile when they're making these rice paper. Even though they use the help of machines, we can still see their hands working very diligently and very agilely with the rice paper, which you have to be impressed. You have to be proud of them. They're in your country, and people in your country is very careful about. These rice paper, a better thing is that they're not just famous in our country. They're also famous in other countries. They're to be exported to other countries, such as Taiwan, Korea, and Japan. After you've finished cutting them, you send them to, these rice paper are sent to a packaging area or a packaging center so they can be packaged using the label and then export all over the world. These rice paper also keeps for a very long time, like half a year. That means 6 months, which is amazing. For most other foods, you can only keep them for a few days or a few weeks or two, but rice paper keeps for a pretty long time. So you don't have to worry about your long haven't used rice paper yet, don't you? And I feel very proud that our country have this craft. It can help young people learn more about their country's culture, how this village has went through ups and downs. And if you ever have the opportunity to visit Tho Ha village, you will see that everywhere. Streets, alleys, ponds, even the roofs of their house. Wherever there is wind or sunlight, there is rice paper there. And when you visit the village, rice powder the fragrance will immediately waft to your nose, which makes you feel a sense of pride. Also, in Tho Ha, you can enjoy the architectural, simple but beautiful complexes in Tho Ha, which are not changed due to war. War hasn't affected Tho Ha very much, even though it affected our province and the other provinces in our country. War has not much shaped Tho Ha into a different, more modern place. It's still a very ancient place where it can help you reminiscent about the old times of the pottery village that used to be famous, that now lives intact with a more modern making, a more modern craft, which is rice paper making. Thank you for listening to this video. I hope you enjoy it. Goodbye!